Hello everybody, time is flying. We're already at 1992 now, and this was an interesting year for me, you know. So 1992, what things caught my eye about this year? Well, this was the year that Boris Yeltsin and President George Bush met at Camp David in America, formally putting an end to the Cold War. Space Shuttle Endeavour made its first flight that year. It was the replacement for the Challenger, which was destroyed a couple of years earlier. There was also a lot of political unrest happening in Middle Europe, Eastern Europe, as the Cold War was over. A lot of the small countries that used to be part of the Soviet Union started gaining independence and demanding their own autonomy. So that's a good thing, I suppose. So in 1992, a few of those that passed away that year were Jose Ferrer, the famous actor. Benny Hill passed away that year. Died alone in his flat, in his home. Millionaire, but still alone. Marlene Dietrich passed away that year, as did Isaac Asimov, one of the kings of science fiction writing back in the 50s, 60s, 70s. Certainly a lot of his books I did read. I've still got some of them now, not behind me, they're in a different place where I keep the books. And Dick York also died that year. He was the other half of Bewitched. He was in the series Bewitched, wife of the young witch type. Yeah. Anyway. Born that year, here's a few names that I recognise. Taylor Lautner, I believe he's played the werewolf type chap in the Twilight movies. Stoffel Van Dorn was born that year. He's a Formula 1 driver, currently driving the other McLaren alongside Fernando Alonso. Hopefully McLaren will get a better car next year, but who knows. Chloe Bennett, star of the Avengers TV show. Selena Gomez, pop starlet. Laura Kenny, gold medal winning cyclist back in the 2012 London Olympics, and then later on the 2016 Olympics as well. And so also born that year was Cara Lavigne. How do you pronounce that anyway? I saw her in Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, which was a very pretty movie. The special effects and everything just looked gorgeous. Unfortunately, the film was let down a bit by not very good story writing, screenwriting. You know, it's the only thing that let it down, really. Could have been better. And also born that year was Destiny Cyrus, better known as Miley Cyrus, daughter of Billy Ray Cyrus. John Boyega, we know who he is. And Daisy Ridley was also born that year.
Oh, I'm no one.
Oh,
I'm just a scavenger.
Everybody's someone.
The droid is not for sale.
So what was I up to in 1992? Well, I was still technically unemployed, even though I was doing the volunteer work at the Tokyo magazine for blind and partially sighted. Bradford Cassette. Still going right now, things Bradford Tokyo magazines. Anyway, I was in this comic shop in Bradford. Can't remember what it was called. It was a fairly large place for a comic shop in Bradford. And they had this life-size cutout of Mr. Spock from Star Trek just standing there. And taped to his chest were some flyers for a Star Trek convention. And I picked one up and had a look at it and thought, this may be an interesting thing to report on for the Tokyo magazines. So I had a word with the woman who run the Tokyo magazine, and she said, yeah, fine, if you can get it, go. And so I had a word with the organisers and got myself a ticket, and they gave me a press badge. Yeah. So the writing's a bit faded on this because it's very old, and if you're wondering, I put my badges on a little hat. Anyway, more about that later maybe. So I went to my first Star Trek convention in Manchester. It was called RecCon 92. It was the official British Star Trek convention. And I'd never been to an event like this before, so I had no idea what to expect. And I was booked in a room, so I was there for 3 nights in the hotel. And they found me a roommate who turned to be quite a nice fella. and I took some photographs. So I did some interviews with the people. I don't think I have a copy of it at all anymore. Some other convention. So I arrived, I registered, checked into my room, went up to the room, dumped all my stuff, came down to the convention. I went into one of the first rooms of the convention, and the first thing they said to me, "Where's your badge?" I said, "What badge?" And they told me that you got to wear your badge, and I didn't realise I had to wear a badge. So I went back up to the room, got my badge down, put it on, and I was sorted for the rest of the weekend. Virtually everybody I met was wonderful. It's one of those times we go to an event and everybody just, is cheerful, is happy to meet you. Had a lot of good conversations, met some people, took some photographs because I did take my camera with me. One of the guests at that convention was DC Fontana, Dorothy Fontana, and her husband, who he did special effects on movies. I think he did special effects on films like The Dark Man. Apparently he wasn't very happy with the special effects he did with that movie, but I quite like that film. So. But DC Fontana was there. I got to interview her, and a lot of these people that I met there for the first time are still going to conventions. Some of them are organising conventions. Some of them bring their families now to conventions. It's like being passed on to the younger generation, and it's been a great thing, yeah. So. And because after that convention, I did my piece for the Bradford Talk magazine and signed up for the next Star Trek convention, which happened in 1993. So I'll maybe talk to you about that next time. One thing that did happen at this convention, or one of the programs they had, because they had a lot of programs on, videos of Star Trek showing in one room, videos of something else showing in another room, sci-fi movies showing in another room, and there's a little room where this bloke was I set up with a tiny TV, talking literally, small portable TV, and he was showing a pile of anime, just Japanese animation. So in the evening I went up and watched almost everything he had to show, and some of the stuff he had to show was quite obscure. Almost everything was fan subtitled, and some of the stuff wasn't even subtitled at all. So as the program progressed, the show went on. He said, "Oh, he's saying that, and now they're saying this," and so, giving a rendering of the story as you watched it, because none of us spoke Japanese. So, and that fellow also did a little show at the following convention I went to, but I'll talk to you about that tomorrow. Yeah, so 1992, I was 24, starting something new in my life. See you all tomorrow.